Alright, we got a big show today, so I got to get right into it. I don't want to take it too long, and I know you folks get bored watching me and listening to me read. So, first off, I want to start out with this camera here. This is the one I used to use when I first started doing this stuff, but the lens was all scratched. Some kind of an abrasion burn on it, right on the focusing part of the lens. But I found this stuff. It's called Rollite Heavy Scratch Remover for plastic. And it works great on those acrylic lenses that they have in these small video cameras. So if you ever scratched your lens, this is the stuff you want to buy. 15 minutes, it had that all rubbed out. This is some good stuff. Rollite. It actually works just like it says it does. So there's my product endorsement for this year. There we go. That's the stuff. There's enough in there to do 1,000,000 lenses. So one drop is all it took. Next, we're going to do what I call the heavy metal show. Big silvers. That's what we're working on today. $half and dollars. So on with the show. And before I forget, I have a bunch of new finds that I got this week. It was fun digging, but it is cold. Boy, it is cold, cold, cold. Down about 6 inches, the ground is frozen solid. And the first 6 inches is just mud. So that's what you got to get used to right now at this time of the year here in West Virginia. Anyway, I hope you like the show tonight. Let's see what I can do to whip something up. I'm telling you, I just can't get over how good this stuff works. So if you got scratched eye lenses, they're made out of plastic, this is the stuff to clean them up, take the scratches out, buff them real nice too. Just make sure you clean up with alcohol, because you want to get all that residue off. So use 90% isopropyl alcohol. Alrighty then, this is the stuff. Also this week, I'm going to announce the winners for the Buffalo Nickels. I've got the first 10 or 11 ready to go. I just need everybody's addresses. So at the end of the show, if you hear your name, that means I need you to email me your address and name and all that sort of stuff so I can mail that stuff out to you. Alrighty then. We'll catch you at the end for that. Also, after the show, check out my playlist. If you want some movies to watch, I got really bad ones and really good ones. So go on my playlist somewhere down there, over here, that way, I don't know, somewhere. You'll figure it out. Alright, here's what we're going to talk about today. We got an 1899 Barber half. Pretty coin. Nice shape. We got a 1900 Orleans Mint Morgan. That would be a dollar coin. The ever-present eagle. This one's pissed. Then we got a 1909 Barber half. Next up. And we got 1927 Walking Liberty, $half. We got a 1936 Walking Liberty, $half. We got a 1944 Walking Liberty, $half. And a 1945 Walking Liberty, $half. All in pretty good shape, gotta say that. Put them out of the way. We got a Franklin half. 1952, my birth year, in very nice shape. We've got us a 1, 2, 3 Sacagaweas, whoopee, and 1 Wampanoag dollar. There you go. And a new acquisition this week. Wow, this is nice too. An 1864 2 cent. Just at the end of that Civil War there, you know. that annoying, pesky history bit. Yep, look at that. 2 cents it says. Can you see that? There you go. Let's see what else we got. Well, those are the coins. Oh, we have a couple of Kennedys, too. No silver in them. 76 bicentennial and an 85 Kennedy. $2 half-dollars. Yep. Yep. Oh, and look at this, man. You ain't going to believe these. Look at that. 2 absolutely mint 1960 rosy dimes. Perfect shape. Not even a fingerprint on them. So I'll be carding them up shortly. Let's see, what else do we have here? We've got a couple of Indian head pennies, another Flying Eagle penny, a very nice seated Liberty dime. I think that's a 1876 seated Liberty. See it there? Okay. We got a couple more Liberty nickels. Put them in the sunlight there so you can see them. Yet another hold large cent and another Barber quarter. All new acquisitions this week. So let's go. Let's see what we're doing here. Now I've got all my notes this time, so I'm kind of prepared. A little better than usual. And we're working on our tablet, which as you can see is dusty. But I use this tablet for everything. Editing, upload, download, you name it, sideways load, we do everything with this. It's all you need. I got my whole studio is right here. I can just take it with me wherever I want to go. Alrighty then, let's go on and on and on and on and on and into the next segment. Next up is the 1909 Barber quarter, half-dollar. That's a pretty coin too. I don't know if you could see it. We got the sunlight coming in. But it is a pretty coin. Now, what was going on in 1909? Let's see. The troops of the United States leave Cuba for the first time since the beginning of the Spanish-American War. Let's see. Admiral Robert E. Peary, a Pennsylvania native, accompanied by 4 Eskimos and a black man, Matthew Henson, arrives at the North Pole on their 6th attempt, establishing Camp Jessup. He had set sail for the pole nearly 1 year earlier on July 6, 1908. Let's see, the National Conference of the Negro was conducted, leading to the formation of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That would be the AANCP. And the Alaskan Yukon Pacific Exhibition opens in Seattle, Washington. Attendance of 3,740,000, including free visitors, witnessed a World's Fair held on 250 acres, including land of present-day Washington University. Let's see. In July 12, 1909, President William Taft continues the designation of national monuments begun during Roosevelt administration with the proclamation of Oregon Caves National Monument in southwest Oregon. On July 31st, he continued the designations with the southwestern Utah lands known as, Mukuntupuep, that will become 10 years later Zion National Park. Easier spelling for sure. Okay, first up, we have that 1899 Barber half. There you go. What was going on back in 1899? The year was 1892, and new beginnings seemed to be the order of the day. That was the case in U.S. coinage as well. 3 new silver coins entered circulation that year, sometimes identified as the Liberty Head half-dollar, quarter, and dime. Most often they're referred to by the name of their designer, the U.S. Mint's chief sculptor engraver, Charles E. Barber. All three Barber silver coins made their first appearances in 1892, and all three had steady, unspectacular careers in the nation's coinage lineup. In the case of the Barber half dollar, annual production never exceeded 6 million at any given mint, and the high point came in 1899 when the main mint in Philadelphia made just a shade over 5.5 million. On the other hand, yearly output never dropped below 100,000 at any one mint, so they're not real valuable, but great to collect. There's plenty of them out there. All right, 1944, the Normandy invasion, or otherwise known as D-Day. It occurs when 155,000 Allied troops, including American forces and those of 11 other Allied nations, land in France. Allied soldiers stormed the beaches of France to begin the World War II invasion of Europe that would lead to the liberation of Paris. Operation Overlord gained footing quickly, pushing through the Atlantic Wall in the largest amphibious military operation in history. The GI Bill of Rights is signed into law, providing benefits to veterans. The greatest continental U.S. tragedy of World War II occurs when two ships loading ammunition at Port Chicago Naval Weapons Station in California explodes. The accident killed 320 people. Wow, that was a lot of people. Next up, we got the 1900 Morgan dollar. And that's a big, heavy coin, too. That's why it's heavy metal. That's a pretty coin. Alrighty then. What was going on in 1900? Oh, let's see. The Gold Standard Act is ratified, placing the United States currency on the gold standard. One of the largest World's Fairs in history opens to the public in Paris, France, with the United States among 42 nations and 25 colonies to exhibit. The World's Fair also included a second modern Olympic Games, held within its 553-acre site, and would draw over 39 million paid visitors through its close on November 12th. In 1927, in March, the Civil War in China prompts 1,000 United States Marines to land in order to protect property of the United States interests. And let's see, from April to May, the Great Mississippi Flood happens, affecting over 700,000 people. Charles Lindbergh leaves Roosevelt Field, New York for the first non-stop transatlantic flight in history. He would reach Paris 33.5 hours later in the Spirit of St. Louis, his aircraft. A ticker tape parade would be held in New York City after his return on June 13th. Oh, and before I forget, I got this here pipe bowl that I found when I was out there digging one day. Apparently it's a trade pipe. Trade with the Indians for skins and stuff like that there. This one was made in Ohio, I think. And it's pretty unspectacular. But it did use a turkey quill or a reed stem, which obviously is gone a long time ago. But I thought I'd include that. I think that's a pretty nice piece. I found it in a hole with other coins. So I don't remember what the date was, but it was sometime last year. Anyway, it's a pretty thing. Got one little chip I think I did with my shovel. Also in 1927, work on the gigantic sculpture at Mount Rushmore begins. Sculptor Gutzon Borglum would complete the task of chiseling the busts of 4 presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt. 14 years it took him to do that. And the advent of talking motion pictures emerges. Al Jolson, in The Jazz Singer, debuts in New York City. Wow, that was really something, I bet. On June 1st, 1900, Carrie Nation continues her temperance movement to abolish the consumption of liquor when she demonizes and demolishes 25 saloons in Medicine Lodge. Also on this day, the 1900 census was conducted. In the first census of the 20th century, the population of the United States rose to 76 million, a 21% increase since 1890. For the first time, all 50 entities that would become the 50 states were included after Hawaii had officially become a territory of the United States on February 22nd. And the center of the United States population, geographically, is now going to be 6 miles southeast of Columbus, Indiana. Not Columbus, Ohio, Columbus, Indiana. All right, September 8th, 1900, the Galveston, Texas hurricane, with winds of 135 miles an hour, kills 8,000 people. It remains the most deadly natural disaster in American history. It was not named during that era and would have been a Category 4 storm on the new Saffir-Simpson scale today. And let's see, President William McKinley wins his second term as president, this time with Theodore Roosevelt in the second spot on the ticket, again defeating William J. Bryan by the electoral margin of 292 to 1. Also in 1927, the first television. It occurs by American inventor Philo Taylor Farnsworth. The complete electronic television system would be patented 3 years later on August 26, 1930. I didn't think they had TV that early, but I guess. Next up, we're going to go into the Walking Liberty, one of my favorite coins because they are sure pretty. Can you see that one there? The Walking Liberty half dollar was a silver 50-cent piece or half-dollar coin issued by the United States Mint from 1916 to 1947, and it was designed by Adolph Wyman. He did a good job. That's a pretty coin, one of my favorites. Well, that one there was 1927. Let's see what's going on in 1927. All right, 1944, the Normandy invasion, or otherwise known as D-Day. It occurs when 155,000 Allied troops, including American forces and those of 11 other Allied nations, land in France. Allied soldiers stormed the beaches of France to begin the World War II invasion of Europe that would lead to the liberation of Paris. Operation Overlord gained footing quickly, pushing through the Atlantic Wall in the largest amphibious military operation in history. The GI Bill of Rights is signed into law, providing benefits to veterans. The greatest continental U.S. tragedy of World War II occurs when two ships loading ammunition at Port Chicago Naval Weapons Station in California explodes. The accident killed 320 people. Wow, that was a lot of people. Also in 1927, work on the gigantic sculpture at Mount Rushmore begins. Sculptor Gutzon Borglum would complete the task of chiseling the busts of 4 presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt. 14 years it took them to do that. And the advent of talking motion pictures emerges. Al Jolson in The Jazz Singer debuts in New York City. Wow, that was really something, I bet. Alright, here we go. The Buffalo Nickel winners, you guys are ready, right? Christina Campbell, come on down. Treasure Hunting, Southwest Pennsylvania. The Life and Times of Barney Taylor. HLR J.C. Moore. Henry Moore. Tina GSX 1400. Old Not Dead. Gary Neal 2. Bill Crabb. Adventures in Dirt. And Karen Sanchez. Please send your names, your address, and all that relative stuff that I need to mail these out to you. Try and remember. So I'm going to go over that list one more time so you don't have to back up and watch it again. Christina Campbell. Treasure Hunting, Southwest Pennsylvania. The Life and Times of Barney Taylor. HLR J.C. Moore. Tina GSX 1400. Old Not Dead. Gary Neal 2. Bill Crabb. Adventures in Dirt. And Karen Sanchez. Please mail that stuff out to me as soon as you can, and I'll get those in the mail Monday or Tuesday, if you give me your addresses by then. So overall, the response to this has been definitely underwhelming. Out of 1,800 subscribers, I only got a dozen or so entries. So send me your stuff. Pay attention to my show. You might win something. See you on the rebound. Here we go. That's the next one. 1936 Walk in Liberty. This one's from the Orleans Mint. What was going on in 1936?